Welcome back, my friends, to the Well podcast. You are in for a treat today. Our guest is Mike Lipkin, a guy who brands himself the Potentiator, someone who creates breakthrough moments by enabling others to perform at their best. And man, you are going to learn so much from this guy. Just in the past year, he's spoken to over 100,000 people in 19 countries. He's written 8 books. And you might be wondering why I have him on a wellness podcast. Well, this guy is actually working as a leadership coach for some of the biggest and best leaders in our industry. So this is someone that you're going to want to listen closely to. This is not a background podcast today. Take notes. Mike is really a game changer for business owners and actually anyone who is interested in having an impact in other people's lives. He has recently elevated his coaching mastery by completing the lifestyle and wellness coaching program at Harvard Medical School. So this guy actually knows what he's talking about when it comes to the physical health, the mental health, the emotional health it takes to be a leader. Enjoy. Mike, thanks so much for being here on Well. We're glad to have you.
I'm thrilled to be here with you, Laura.
Oh, I appreciate it. I know your time is incredibly valuable. And you, my friend, inspired me really from the second I sat down at your session at CanFit Pro. I am kicking myself now that I only got to see about the second half of it because I just really... It's rare a speaker draws you in that quickly. And from, the moment you wrapped up, I probably stormed the stage faster than anybody else to get you to hop on this podcast with me.
I remember.
Yes. Yeah. One of the big reasons I thought it would be really helpful for our audience to have you on is that the fitness and wellness world is full of incredibly passionate folks who they're doers. They're the people that can wake up at 5 a.m. every day, get to their studios, get to the gym, whatever it is that drives them. And they give their blood, sweat, and tears to, frankly, change lives. But it's a big but, most of them are so drained and burnt out and frustrated and really lacking a lot of confidence. That's the story I hear so often, that they just honestly don't believe that they're the leader always, that their community needs them to be, and don't know how to step into that seat of the leader. And really, that's why I wanted to have you on today, because you've coached so many great leaders over the years. And I'd love to hear, where you're from and how you landed into that position, because you've coached some pretty incredible leaders out there.
Yeah. Well, Laura, first of all, thrilled to be on this call, thrilled to have an audience of folks who do what you and I do, which is enable folks to lead happier, better, healthier lives. And in fact, if I've got one mission, it's summarized as to enrich other people's lives as a result of being in their lives. And so I know that if I'm enriching your life, I'm going to be talking with confidence and conviction, because ultimately, through our interaction, you are going to feel like you are delighted that I'm in your life. And so the first challenge facing every trainer or every gym operator is to truly believe that they are enriching the lives of the people that are part of their ecosystem. Because if you believe that, then you have to be positive and you have to be energized around it. The challenge some folks have is they start to doubt the real role that they are playing, or they start to minimize the role, or they start to get stuck into a very small aspect of the lives that they're endeavoring to change. And so right up front, I'll tell you my core belief, and this is a thread that will find its way through everything we talk about today, and that is your inner game runs your outer game. So no matter what your role is, if you are a personal trainer, if you're operating a gym, or like Dave Patchell-Evans, if you're operating a chain of gyms, your mission is to enrich people's lives. And there's a saying from one of the good books that says, and I'm going to paraphrase it, if you've enriched one person's life, you've enriched the whole world. So right now, I want to enrich your life. I want to enrich the lives of the people listening. And that's the only thing that matters. And I feel like I'm making as much of an impact on the world through this exercise as anyone who's ever done anything. So I put that forward because I'm living proof that conviction, confidence, and passion for your mission alone will make you successful. And, what we'll unpack as we go along today is how you prepare, how you get the knowledge, how you refine your expertise, and then how you become that subject matter expert that people seek out. But it all begins with an inner game that's always got to be bigger than your outer game. Your confidence and your aspiration has always got to be bigger than the impact that you're having on others, because that's how your impact grows. So to come back to your question, because I digress, as we say. As you said in your notes to me, and I have prepared for this call, from my accent, you can tell I'm not from North America. I'm originally from South Africa. I was born and raised in a place called Johannesburg, South Africa. I came to Canada in 2001 in my late 30s. And so I had to move from being an advertising executive in South Africa to reinventing my life in Canada. Now, I came to Canada for the opportunity. I came because what I love about North America is anything is possible, irrespective of the party, irrespective of the government, irrespective of the economy. We live in a meritocracy. We live in an environment where if you can dream it, you can do it. And we don't have to look very far to find people who are literally living that dream. You are one and I am one. So I came to Canada and I had the good fortune to align with a large research company called the Environics Research Group. We would be like the Canadian equivalent of a Gallup. And so through my interaction with Environics, I have access to great data that tracks people's values. And what we track specifically, Laura, and this is what I find fascinating, is the values of those people who are struggling with change versus the values of those people who are thriving on change. And really the five values of people who are thriving on change is, number one, they are interdependent. They love being around other people. They're highly gregarious. Number two, they believe in being highly self-aware. So they are really intentional and cognizant of how they're impacting others. Number three, authenticity and courage, because those two are like front of hand, back of hand, are core to them. They know that they've got to confront and use their fear, and they know that if they're not being true to who they are, they cannot be the best they can be. Number four is they want to understand the system of the environment in which they're living. They want to understand how things work together. So if they're doing activity A, how does that align with all the activities all the way through to Z? And how can they make sure that they're bringing value along the entire chain? And then finally, these folks are super achievement oriented, but not at the risk of burnout. For them, achievement is not just the achievement of external deliverables. It's the feeling of fulfillment that comes with achieving external success. So in a nutshell, then, that's how I came to be where I am now. In answer to your question of how I get to work with great leaders, so about 40% of my work is keynote speeches and workshops like you saw me deliver to Canford Pro. And when I've got an audience of, let's say, between 400 or 1,000 people in the room, there's no question, Laura, that like you, there's going to be a handful or more of folks at a senior level who want to know more about what I can do for them. And in fact, Dave Patchell-Evans is a case in point. So the day before you saw me, I did a program with the top managers at Good Life Fitness. And Dave Patchell-Evans was the speaker before me. Now, Dave is incredibly successful, as you know. He runs he owns this operation with over 400 gyms in Canada. He now owns the largest chain of gyms in New Zealand. He's expanding into Australia. Just before he gets up to give this talk to his people, he's now 72 years old. Laura, do you know, he comes up to me and he says, Mike, before I get up there, I have a favor to ask you. I go, sure, Dave. He says, I need you to watch me, critique me, and then I need you to coach me afterwards on how I can get better. And I was very moved by that. And then he stands up and gives the most amazing talk with some very moving aspects to his talk that we could spend the whole time talking about. But I made the decision then afterwards, not just to coach him one-on-one. What I did, Laura, is I said, I'm going to coach everyone, but it'll be like I'm talking to Dave, but we'll have 300 eavesdroppers. And as I was talking to him, I got quite emotional because of how authentic he was and how humble he was and how much he wants to grow. And now Dave and I potentially will do some more work together. But I give you this as an example of how I get into the minds and the hearts of the C-suite. If you've got great content and you deliver it with super conviction and you sound like you've earned the right to be there, you discover something extraordinary, Laura, and that is the higher you go, the more anxiety you experience. So we look at folks at the very pinnacle of society and we think that they've transcended these emotions that we wrestle with on any given day. Just the opposite. Because the higher you go, the greater the pressure and the more other people are counting on you. So I brand myself as the C-suite whisperer. I'm the guy that they call where they can be real. They can share their darkest, deepest fears with me. I then help them convert those fears into further fuel for growth. And the one thing I know is that we're all fumbling our way through the future. You know, we're living at a stage now where hourly things are changing dramatically. So by the time you and I are finished this conversation, the world will have changed in some way. And you've got to embrace that. So that's my long response to a short question.
Well, I love it. I think, as you were describing the 5 attributes that folks have that were embracing change and that I would imagine kind of end up in these C-suite level positions, it's got to be a pretty small percentage of the population that can embody all of those things at once. And especially in an environment where things are moving so quickly. And I can say, I mean, my mini example of this is I have a 14-year-old daughter who is a great kid by all intents and purposes. Like, she is doing the right things in life. But this morning, I'm like, God, she has been on her phone like so much lately. And she swiped out of something really quickly. And I was like, she's hiding something from me. And I have a hard and fast no social media rule in our house with the kids. And I was like, let me see your phone. And I searched to see if TikTok is on there. Nope. See Instagram. Nope. Snapchat. Nope. And then I saw her in her bathroom and TikTok was on the screen of her on her phone. And I'm like, God dang it. I just looked. And come to find out, maybe I'm way late to the game, or maybe this changed in the last hour. Like you said, you can have hidden apps on your phone that you absolutely need Face ID to have. So even when I searched, she had hidden her TikTok app from me, so she knew I wouldn't find it. Anyway, case in point is that I have to embrace all of these quick changes that are happening in technology to be able to stay up to date on my kid. And now I know my kid's sneaky, so that's awesome. But, another conversation for another day. I've got to figure out how to parent that. But point is, it's a small percentage of the population that not just has all those attributes, but that can embrace keeping up.
Yes. And it's one thing to know that you need to embrace it. It's another thing to be awesome at it. So, for example, and I've got a question that I'm going to ask you in a moment. So the 2 primary poles, as it were, is either you are super relationship oriented or you super task oriented. So we know that people who achieve great things have got a laser focus on the main thing, and they can either be great at relationship building or they surround themselves with folks who are great at relationship building. So of the 2, relationship and task, I know that I am down the middle. So I'm incredibly focused on relationships and I have a very strong focus on task. I might be a little less strong on understanding the systems because I'm a speaker. That's what I do. I don't understand all the 360 elements that go into that. I'm not always as courageous as I should be, and I'm not always as authentic as I should be. In fact, I might be acting even now, right? And I do believe I have a high level of self-awareness. So what am I saying to you? I know I'm strong on relationships. I know I'm strong on task. I know I'm strong on self-awareness, but I may not be that strong on courageous authenticity, or I may not be that strong on systems awareness. But I know what I don't know, Laura. And so I surround myself with people who complement my strengths, because I don't need more Mike Lipkins in my life. I mean, one of me is enough, right? I need folks like you who make things happen and create opportunities opportunities like this for me to be expressive. So let me ask you, Laura, if you think about, are you more relationship or task, or would you say, like me, you might be equally balanced in both those spheres?
I'm more relationship.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. I can be task. I can force myself to be task, and that's what you have to do. But in my natural state, I'm much more relationship oriented.
So on your team, have you got folks who might be more task oriented?
Oh, 100%. I know that I need that in order to have anything be a success that I touch.
Exactly. And so the role that I play with a lot of executives is because they have the sense that they should know the answers and they are scared to admit that they don't know the answers. I then help them navigate the needing to know with being authentic and also being vulnerable. As Brené Brown says, vulnerability is a superpower, but that's easier said than done when you're being paid millions of dollars to know the answers. So I kind of help them navigate this role between being human and being superhuman at the same time.
I love it. Well, let's take that into the fitness and wellness world. So you've spoken at a lot of these conferences. You've obviously met lots of leaders in the fitness and wellness world. What's your kind of 30,000-foot view on what leadership looks like in this industry? And is there anything big that you'd say we're missing? That's a pretty broad question, but I'll let you go.
No, it's a great question. And by the way, I like broad because I think the nature of a conversation like this is to be wide ranging. And so just to demonstrate to you and your listeners, I've prepared. So just so you know, I've got my thoughts that I wrote down here. So the first is what the fitness industry needs to be right now is this fusion of health and commerce. So it's about health, but as someone once said, there might be a gap in the market, but is there a market in the gap? So one needs to find an aspect of health that you can then monetize and that will enable you then to make that blue ocean, not red ocean. So red ocean is when everybody's doing it and then everything is super competitive and then the margins are squeezed and the prices are lowered. And that is a recipe for failure. So irrespective of who you are, you need to find a way. Maybe it's your personality, like a great restaurant. If you're in the gym and you're around, how does your presence make that experience something extraordinary? Or maybe it's a specific aspect of health that you believe is going to be super relevant to your specific area or the people that you want to attract. So there's an individual who's part of my ecosystem who's helping more mature. There's no such thing as old. There's just more mature senior executives get back into shape. So his whole offering is around how do you recapture your shape, literally your shape, when you're north of 40 or 50 or even 60. That's his blue ocean. And he's a hyper intimate offering. But he's created this blue ocean. And because he's had success with a number of high profile individuals, they now are becoming advocates for him in this community. So he's doing exceptionally well. Number two is to really get in sync with a trend that says we need to get people to understand that working out equals working. So what do I mean? Well, if you're an executive or you're a professional and you're working your 8 or 9 or 10-hour days, you are focused on the work, and sometimes the work takes precedence over working out. What I want folks to understand is that when I work out, and I work out 7 days a week, that hour that I spend working out every single day, that is as much of my work as this is, or as writing a paper is, or creating a video is, or delivering a talk. So we want people to really understand the importance of putting their health first and understanding just the power of bringing, and this is my next point, bringing vitality and energy and robustness to what they do. So vitality and energy are the new secret sources. So when people get in front of us, what we are intuiting as much as rationally witnessing is the level of energy or joy, or as we say up here in Canada, their joie de vivre, their joy of life to the conversation. Now, you and I, Laura, have been in front of folks who are super knowledgeable, but they come across as either bored or tired, or they're just going through the motions, or we get a sense that if they had a choice, they wouldn't be where they are. Have you noticed people talk to us as though we are customer number 42,000 that year? You know? And what people want right now more than ever before is they want to matter. They want to feel like somebody cares about them as individuals. So really being cognizant of being able to give that gift to people is really important. Number 4, and I see it's in a question that you've got later on, but I'll bring it now. A big trend is the fusion of AI and HI, which is human intelligence, with artificial intelligence. And what I wrote over here is AI plus HI equals hyper-personalization. So in other words, and I actually did this with you, I can go online and find out everything about Laura that I want to know, and then I can calibrate my message accordingly. So when I give keynotes, what I do, and this is, it occurs to people like magic right now. What I do is I go online and I ask, for example, I did a session the other day, and there's a client of mine, I'm going to use his name. His name is Steve Hans. He's a senior executive at a large packaging company. And I went into Perplexity, which is the engine that I use. And I said, hey, Perplexity, what are Steve Hans's most important priorities and how should I sell to him? So it gave me this beautiful outline of what his priorities are, his 5 top priorities. And then it scraped the net to identify even the words or the vocabulary that he uses. And then it said, here's the questions, here's the statements you should make to Steve. So guess what? That's what I did. And I got the gig. He didn't know I did this. But then when I got up in front of people, I put up the slide and he said to me afterwards, he said, Mike, those are exactly my priorities. But he said, guess what? I didn't know those were my priorities. So that's the power
Oh my God.
That's the power of AI. I think that right now, Laura, it's going to occur to others as magic. I think within a very short period of time, it'll almost be the expected. But your listeners right now, or your viewers, can really seize this moment to wow people by bringing that magic.
Gosh, when I think about what they could pop into, ChatGPT, they could list off their, they could run a report quickly in Walla to see who their highest attendance folks are, put those people into ChatGPT, tell me about those people, what they want in their lives, what they're missing in their lives. And that is their marketing plan.
100%. 100%.
Oh, I love it.
And it's super simple. And while it's simple, it will require experimentation. So AI is only as good as the prompt you provide. So there's now a new breed of professionals that you can be certified for. It's called a prompt engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like,
I do.
Exactly. We're now going to go to college to learn how to prompt AI to give us answers. I mean, you can't make this up.
I just talked to my son about this job. I was like, you're such a good, you love to get to the bottom of things and puzzler and understand. You would be a great prompt engineer.
Correct. So when I put the prompts in, I put a prompt in that might be 400 or 500 words so that you give AI everything you can. And then you train it over time to understand what it is you're looking for. And now, Laura, when I want to write something, I go, write it like Mike Lipkin would write it. And it gives it back to me very similar to what my tone is, and then I fine tune it. So it's accelerated the pace at which I can get great content out.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The magic happens, or especially in this business, when there is eyeball to eyeball contact between the person and the client. So you and I are only having this conversation because when we met personally, there was that connection. So AI can provide you with camouflage if you're only communicating virtually, But the real magic happens when you now show up in person, and then AI cannot be what you put in front of you. AI is what's behind you so that you can come across in the best way possible. Okay. Number 5 here, and this is why you're doing this podcast, is I'm not sure that people in this industry understand the power of having a constant presence. So even if your job is to show up at somebody's house at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, or by that matter, 7:30 or 9 p.m. at night, and train them one-on-one, you've got to find a way to be out there what might almost appear to be all the time. Because if you can get someone to follow you, and you can then put out regular thoughts, or what I call mind sparks, then that mind spark of yours can set them on fire to want to know more about you. And the great thing about this constant presence is at some point, you're going to be reaching somebody at exactly the right time. So, for example, every week I put out a new video, and then I use AI to segment the video into 10 or 15 second slices. And I cannot tell you how often, Laura, someone calls me and said, I can't believe your timing. That message is exactly what I needed to hear. What I didn't tell this person is, well, I'm always out there. So at some point, it's going to be the right moment.
Yeah.
So find a way to do what you're doing now, and that is get out there. Maybe it's through a podcast. Maybe it's through messages that you've got out there. Maybe it's just talking into your phone and then uploading it, but get out there.
Yeah. Well, we have such easy ways to get out there, right? Like social media, YouTube, podcasts, whatever it might be. I think studio owners, fitness business owners equate getting out there as to having to be on the floor or teaching classes all the time. And that is not it. That is one of the methods that you can use. But your audience, being able to get access to your audience, even when they're outside the studio, is incredibly powerful. Being in their brain, really, really speaking to them, because we know, or hopefully, as a business owner, you're delivering a beautiful, awesome, wow, the consumer experience in the studio. But then they leave and they go back to life where it's hectic and crazy and they're freaking overwhelmed all the time. But if you have those opportunities, we do. It's in the palm of our hand on our phone all the time.
All the time. And if you're in this industry, then what you've got to learn to do is develop some kind of presence, some kind of mastery of this medium. Now, this is America and you're in SoCal. So, the great part of your part of the world is everyone is an actor. They're just doing something else until they really hit the big time. So we all need to be like that. We all need to bring out our inner performance. And if you're in the health industry, then you're going to come across as healthy. And if there's one thing we know, that one of the biggest trends right now is summarized by a movement called Don't Die, right? I mean, there's an individual who's doing everything he can to live as long as he can. And he believes that doing what he's doing, which includes, by the way, getting transfusions of blood from his young son.
What? That is longevity to taking it a little too far.
Seriously. But for the folks who are listening to this call, just Google Don't Die. And, he believes he can live to 168. I mean, that's what his objective is. So look, the final thing I'll say here, and this really, I think, goes to the heart of everything that your folks are about, and that is the experience itself. How can you make the experience something phenomenal? So if it's you or if it's people working for you, how do you make every conversation a great one? How do you make every workout a great one? How do you greet people in a way? How do you treat them in a way? How do you follow up in a way where they feel cared for and reassured? So those are my thoughts here. Fusion of health and commerce, workout equals work, vitality, longevity, energy are the new gold, AI plus HI equals hyper-personalization, constant presence is going to be the game changer, and then make the experience special through the attention and the environment you create for each and every member.
Oh, I love it. Well, I think that's obviously an incredible recipe for leaders in this industry, and I think what we're seeing right now is almost like you said earlier, a little bit of a red ocean. Like it is becoming an incredibly competitive marketplace because there is a new lens on longevity, don't die. All of these folks out there are realizing, God, I actually have a lot more control over my health and wellness than I believed. And it's accessible. It's not as expensive, maybe, as it once was just to get access. But what's happening and what I'm seeing in the fitness industry is a real scarcity mindset amongst leaders in the industry. And, people are not getting out of their bubbles. Instead, they're laser focusing on, oh God, I've got to save this business from the new studio that just opened down the street or the fancy gym that just opened a mile away. Like, how am I going to survive as a business owner? And they're existing in the echo chamber of their current climates, or I'm sorry, the current clients, and maybe they're one or two people that they've trusted. So you talk a lot about networking, and I think included in this recipe of yours for great leaders in this industry, networking is a big part of it. So I'd love to hear from your perspective how intentional networking can change businesses and can help people evolve.
Yeah. This might be the most challenging part of the work, because the way to fail in networking is to stick to the people you know very well. The way to succeed is to cast your net as wide as possible, but that does mean literally getting out there, attending the events like Canford Pro, because that's how you and I met.
Right.
Now, luckily I was speaking and you were also speaking. In fact, the more you get out there, Laura, the more you make networking intentional, the more serendipity plays a role. So I talk about serendipity being like everyday lottery. What are the chances that a boy from Johannesburg living in Toronto connects with a entrepreneur based in San Diego, California? What are the chances of that happening? I mean,
So rare.
seriously, so rare. And yet it happened because we were both committed to networking. So, there are certain key steps that you want to be taking when it comes to networking. So number one is you want to make it a priority. You want to make sure that networking is as important to you as anything else you do. And you got to carve out at least 20% of your time. Now, folks might say, I'm so busy, I can't find that 20%. Well, if you've got that mindset, all those opportunities are going to pass you by. Number two is you've got to seek out people whose values are the values of those people who want to be healthy. So where are they likely to congregate? What media are they likely to read? What events are they likely to attend? What articles are they likely to read? And if you're in this industry, you understand that, or it's very easy to do your homework and really go where those people are likely to be. Number three, and there's no escaping number three, you've got to bring the value. You've got to bring something the other person is going to find exceptionally valuable. And one of the ways to bring somebody valuable or something valuable, Laura, is to personalize one's offering. So the other person says, this person understands me. This person is like me. Look, we like people who are like us. And even though you and I might be very different in a range of our activities, Laura, we both share a passion for health, a passion for enrichment, and a passion for growth.
Yep.
So you want to bring value that really resonates with the folks around you. Now, number four, and this is a fun one, but I'm deadly serious about this one, and that is you want to flatter people, because even if they know you're flattering them, they'll be flattered that you think they're worth flattering.
I love it.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like have you noticed throughout the session, you flattered me, I flattered you. Now I'm being authentic in my flattery. Mm-hmm. But there's no one out there who doesn't want to be recognized. The moment we flatter someone, we get a hit of dopamine because I'm saying something nice to you that I mean, and you experience dopamine because you're getting recognition and liking and affection from someone who you like. So don't be afraid to pay people compliments. And by that, I mean people who work for you, people who you want to attract to you. But when you pay someone a compliment, follow it up with a reason why, because otherwise it's disingenuous. And then the final principle of networking that I'll share right now is be persistent. The fact that you reach out to someone, and we can reach out to anyone on LinkedIn. And I would advocate to folks, if you can afford it, buy the premium service so that you can actually identify who the leads are that you can follow up with. And then what LinkedIn does is on any given day, it sends you all the leads that you could follow up with. Well, I can send Laura a message and she may not respond for the first 20 messages, but she may respond to the 21st message. So don't stop at 20. Carry on carrying on, because no doesn't mean never. It just means not now. It just means the last approach didn't resonate with me, but the next approach might. So really, it is about getting there. It is about focusing on where those folks are going to be. It's about bringing value. It's about complimenting folks and giving them reason why you're complimenting them. And then finally, it is about persistence, and it's about hanging in there until somebody responds.
Right. And the beauty of this industry is anyone could be your client at any time, right? You're not selling B2B software like I am, where I've got a pretty small niche of people that can buy my software. If I own a, strength studio or a yoga studio, literally almost every person I run into could end up walking in my doors, or potentially could be a partner in one way or another. And I think we get so, again, blinders on, focused on our little echo chamber of the people that we've always talked to and we've always worked with, or gosh, I've always only run ads on Meta, around the holidays. Guess what? You getting out there and walking into a room of other health conscious people or people who are interested in being more health conscious might get you more quality leads in one session than the thousands of dollars you're spending on a Meta ad that's hitting up, everybody and anybody in the noise of social media.
100%. There's a great movie. Well, it's been panned by some critics, but I'm a big fan of Dakota Johnson. It's a movie called The Materialists.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I want to see this.
And she plays the role of a matchmaker. Listen, I just think she was so good in the movie, and I love her anyway. But anyway, there's this great scene where she leaves her apartment. She's walking down the street in New York. A guy walks towards her, good-looking guy, looks affluent. She just asks him, she says, "Excuse me, are you single?" And he says yes, but he thinks she's coming on to him. And then she gives him her card, and she says, "I think I can find you a partner." And he takes the card, and then he follows up with her. So my point is that if you're a networker, if you committed to what you're doing, if you see someone who you think you can benefit, be bold enough just to approach them. Give them your card, have a conversation. The worst thing they can do is blow you off. But if you don't approach them, you don't know what may have happened if you did approach them.
Right. Okay, God, I have so many more questions I want to ask you. Maybe we need a session 2.0. Okay, I two other quick things, hopefully quick, that I want to get to. The first of which is you call yourself and you use the term potentiator often. I heard you talk about it when we spoke. I've read it now in some of your books, watched it on YouTube. Tell me more about why this term has kind of become your identity and how you work with your clients.
Thank you for that question, because I made up the word potentiator. There is a verb called to potentiate. It's a scientific it's a scientific term that means to increase the strength or effectiveness of. So potentiator is someone who increases the strength or effectiveness of others. To make it even more simple, Laura, it is someone who enables others to play at their best. So I'm playing right now, I'm playing at the level that you are enabling me to play at. So we had a briefing call, your energy, your granting me of freedom to go wherever I want to in this call, and making it possible for me to be outstanding means I'm being the best I can be at this moment. So a potentiator, Laura, is someone who, if you know they're on your team, on your project, or in the room, you know you're going to play at your best because that person is willing you to be outstanding. I have a number of potentiators around me, and they will me to be outstanding because I've raised their level of expectation in terms of how I'm going to be. And I'm so committed to them, they so committed to me, Laura, that even on my worst day, I'm still going to be good. On my best day, I'm going to be transcendent. So if you're a potentiator, and this is what a potentiator is in a nutshell, your mission is to enable people to play at their best. Because what happens then, Laura, is you become what's known as a talisman to somebody else. That's my favorite word, Talisman, talisman. And a talisman is simply a good luck charm. You and I know that everyone, I don't care how scientific you are, we all are superstitious in some ways. We all have lucky this and unlucky that, and this is a source of good energy, that's a source of bad energy. And then there's certain people who are just sources of great energy for us. So you're a source of great energy for me. I've got certain people in my life who I've let go, I've cut bait on, because they weren't great energy, and they may think the same about me.
Right.
So in a nutshell, then, a potentiator is someone who enables you to play at your best. And Laura, guess what? If your mission is to enable others to play at their best, they're going to want to come back again and again, because the most valuable currency is the currency of reciprocity. And human beings are designed to reciprocate. In fact, have you noticed that if people don't reciprocate, we actually feel something's a little off about them? And people who do not reciprocate actually at some point will blow themselves out or burn themselves out.
Right. The reason I wanted to bring that up in this conversation, I see studio owners, fitness business owners, people in the wellness industry have such incredible roles to play in the humans' lives that they're encircled with every day. And Potentiator just struck so perfectly, because it was really, really like when you have someone step in front of you that is saying, yes, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. and I am going to sweat my ass off and I am going to do the hard thing because I know it makes me better. And you're either the teacher or the business owner or the one enabling that to happen, and then really helping that person rise to the occasion. I can't think of a better position for a potentiator to be in. So I loved that term.
And the one thing I want to tell you now, and I don't know if folks in this industry do this enough, you got to keep telling people how much you're doing for them. You got to keep reminding them of how valuable you are to them. Not in a way that is self-aggrandizing, not in a way that's boastful or annoying, but in a very subtle kind of way. So I had a conversation with a client this morning that I'm doing a lot of work on, and he thanked me for something. And I go, hey, his name is Jason. I said, Jason, just like we did on our previous 2 projects that were a fantastic success, this will be an even greater success, as will the next one be, because you and I have now come a long way together. So I'm seizing every opportunity to remind people of how indispensable I am to them. Because don't assume that you are top of mind in anybody's life. When they wake up in the morning, you're not the center of their universe, they are. So keep letting them know how valuable you are to them. And then, by the way, follow through, because otherwise it's just vaporware.
Right. That's such a good point. I think that there's so much timidness or just fear of being too ostentatious or, bragging or whatever it might be, that we don't do that enough. And especially when you're changing lives the way these businesses are in the wellness industry, it is invaluable. You literally could not give them a greater gift than their health and wellness. And so the opportunity is there.
Well, you see, Laura, what you've just said is the whole ball of wax. And that is, don't minimize what it is you're doing for them. Make what you're doing for them the most precious thing that they could ever receive from anyone, because we tend to not think about our health until we don't have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or when we start to see some breakthroughs, like we start to see some shape, we start to see some definition, we feel better, we get better results. Unless you keep reminding me that you're the source of that, I may start thinking, well, that's me. Or I might start ascribing that to other people. You want to keep reminding folks just how indispensable you are to them, and how the worst thing they could ever do is detether or untether themselves from you.
Right. All right. Well, listen, we have had just so many great little nuggets in this conversation. I hope everybody listening has been able to jot down notes or time to go back and kind of tag moments in this conversation that mean something to you. But I guess let's wrap it up. That was a great piece of advice right there. Don't let them forget.
So now let me be a potentiator for you.
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
I know there's one thing you wanted to address, and folks can, log off now, or they can stay for another minute or so. And that is, you wanted to ask me a question around belonging.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Okay. So I was listening to one of your YouTube videos, and something hit me so hard. It's part of your You Belong Here book. You're an incredible author. And you said the words, after the words, I love you, you belong here, might be the most powerful and meaningful words you can say to anyone. Why? Why is that something that hits a chord so deeply?
So, great question.
Thanks.
And I also wanted to take this opportunity to promote the book, You Belong Here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The reason why, Laura, is very, very simple. There's not a single person watching or listening to us right now that doesn't suffer from some degree of imposter syndrome. Even me, I've done well in my life, and I'm at a stage now where I'm harvesting a lifetime of good work. But there are moments where I'm asking myself, am I up to this challenge? Am I as good as the incredible competitors that are seeking my clients? Am I going to rise to tomorrow's challenge and I don't even know what it is? How long can I keep moving at this incredible pace? So I'm always afraid that I'm going to get found out. I'm always afraid I'm going to let somebody down. I'm always afraid that someone's not going to like what it is I'm offering, and that's going to be an important person. So when I feel as though I'm with my community, my people, my tribe, when folks affirm me and when they say, wow, we love what you communicate. You made such a difference. Although you're not part of our company, we feel like you're an extension of our company. That is the most powerful source of security for me. And even if we think about classic psychological theory, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So at a base level, you got physiological needs like warmth, health, shelter. At the next level, you've got security needs, freedom from fear. At that third level, it's belonging, it's community. And all the data says that loneliness is as bad for your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So the feeling of belonging, the feeling of community, the feeling of support, the feeling of there being folks who will pull for you and push for you is tremendously reassuring and vitalizing as a person. So in any situation, there are 5 levels of belonging. So let me say this and then we'll wrap. The first is, and we've all experienced this, right? You go into a store, and so it happened to me the other day, right? I was in Toronto where I live, but it was summer, and I just went into Tiffany's, and I was dressed like I wasn't worth a dime. I had my Gap t-shirt on, I had cargo pants on, I had flip-flops on, and I got looks from the security guard and from the attendants that I really wasn't welcome in that store, and I should have dressed up to go in. So I felt unwelcome. So that's the base level of almost negative belonging. At the next level, you just feel tolerated. You just feel, so I'm not welcome, I'm just tolerated. At the next level, you feel comfortable. So you don't feel unwelcome, you don't feel tolerated, you just feel at ease. At the next level, you feel accepted. And the difference between comfortable and accepted is when you feel accepted, you feel like people are aligning with you and resonating with you. However, you can feel accepted and still be afraid that if you make a wrong move, you can lose that acceptance. So if you belong to a club and you do the wrong thing, they exit you. At the highest level, you belong. And when you belong, even if you make a mistake, even if you stumble, people will still love you and embrace you and keep you and strengthen you. That's the power of belonging.
Wow. Well, talk about the exact feeling you want your customers to have in your fitness business is no matter what, no matter if they have a terrible workout that morning, if they only make it to 20 minutes of class instead of 40 minutes of class, they actually belong. And for them to have confidence in that, and like you said, the security in that, that's what keeps a client long-term. We're constantly talking about retention challenges and churn in this industry and how you can engage people more. Nothing will be more powerful than that 5th level, that belonging tier.
Right. And I can't resist this. So an integral part of belonging is the word member. So you want to remember your members. In other words, every day, remind them of what it means to be a member of this club. So remember every day, and then people will not forget what it means to be a member of your club.
Oh, could not have wrapped this up with a better bow. Thank you for bringing that back up. Oh, well, thank you, Mike, for being here with us today. I can't wait to hear the feedback from all of our listeners. And if they'd like to find you, if they'd like to work with you, if they'd like to read your books, where is the best place for everybody to check you out?
Yeah, very, very simple. MikeLipkin.com.
Okay.
I'm also on Instagram at Mike Lipkin. You can also find me on LinkedIn and on Facebook and all the usual social media.
YouTube, you guys.
Oh, yes.
Mike Lipkin.
A YouTube channel, exactly.
Yeah, if you want little snippets like this, he's got plenty of them on YouTube. And that is, I don't know, I've fired up a couple days already this week by watching those. So thank you.
Thank you. And listen, Laura, thank you so much. I have loved the last 50 minutes. Amazing how time flies when you're having fun. So merci beaucoup.
Thank you. We'll see you next time on Well, Well, Well.